Steve Sisolak, our state governor here in Nevada, has declared this a travel advisory state. He's also extended our non-essential business ban, but that was just a day after the casinos were fixing to reopen on April 17th. Also, a major construction project is now put on hold. I'll explain all that to you as well. And it's sometimes you have to stop and put things into perspective. And I'm going to tell you the tale of two different cities and what family that I have overseas in Southeast Asia is going through. So maybe you guys can appreciate what we have, because I had to do that today. I had to go and read some stuffs because I'm losing my mind and I don't want to slip into that funk you get when you're stuck in your house. My name is Steven. I am not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. Do me a huge favor, like, share, subscribe this video, hit the bell for the notifications, and comment and tell us, where are you stuck? Or maybe you're not stuck at all. Maybe you have the ability to roam and you're a homesteader out in Oklahoma. You're one of those Okies and you just can do whatever you want, and that's good for you too. Give us some hope out there, everybody. So if you want to be in the credits of this video, by the way, you can check out the Patreon. There's videos I can't put on YouTube because of the YouTube rules on censorship and restrictions. I'll be posting those up there too, because right now I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we have to get the news and the information out there and spread it around, right? Okay, give me a like if I'm right. So it came to light this morning after I tried to make a video 17 million times in a row and I just couldn't get the words right. I started writing you a song and the words I wrote came out all wrong. To quote Steven Tyler, the poet from Aerosmith, I was making a video this morning about how, hey, look, we might be able to book hotel rooms on April 17th because that's when the hotel booking sites were starting to be opened up. And then sometime between then, when I stopped trying to make the video because it was driving me nuts, and when I got back to actually look up the travel advisory that Sisolak for some reason did, which we'll get to in a minute, it turns out the whole entire state of Nevada is now non-essential closed until April 30th. Oh boy, I can't tell you how relieved I am to be able to go nowhere until April 30th. But okay, maybe they have higher minds working that say it's going to stop the spread, and that's a good thing too. All I know is that it's getting increasingly more difficult to be inside, and I'm legitimately getting worried about what's going to happen to the casino industry and to people who are indirectly attached to it, which is everybody in Nevada, basically. Look, a lot of us are not working right now, but if your entire industry is fueled by Disneyland, the longer Disneyland stays closed, the more injured your industry gets. And right now in this city, 44% of people are directly employed by the casinos. The longer they stay closed, the harder it's going to be to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and just have a positive attitude and go out there and smile at the world like Joaquin Phoenix in that Joker movie did. But we just have to keep it into perspective. We'll talk about that at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. So that's one thing. The second thing is, like I said, I was going to make a video about how the hotels were going to open up on April 17th. Oopsie, that didn't happen. Glad I didn't make that video. I would have looked quite the April's fool. People would have literally been accusing me after he came out and said everything's closed until April 30th. I would have had people accusing me of an April Fool's joke. None of this is an April Fool's joke. The third thing, and I try really, really hard to stay impartial in these videos, I tell people don't look at the other side and say the grass is greener. Climb up on the fence and look at both sides at the same time. I try hard, but it's hard here. Sisolak declared Nevada a travel advisory state, meaning that travel advisory, if you go here, you should quarantine for 14 days before you go back home. And that's not the same as non-essential businesses closing down. That means you should lock yourself in a room and disassociate yourself from others until you go back home. And if you do have people that are with you, they should do the exact same thing and avoid all contacts with people. That seems a little bit extreme, and it seems to fly in the face of what the casinos were trying to do yesterday by opening up by April 17th. Now, I'm not sure why our governor is seemingly working against the casinos when he has Jim Murin, the former CEO of MGM Resorts International, on his team, on his task force. I always want to be on a task force. Maybe someday I'll get on a task force. But he has them on the task force, and it seems like there should be a much better cohesion between the hotels, the casino gaming industry, and what the state's about to announce. Because that just would look terrible for everybody. Can you imagine that if they hadn't closed everything until April 30th? If there was availability to go to a hotel on April 17th, but at the same time the state's telling you that there's a travel advisory? You would have nobody coming here. The casinos would be open with employees losing much more money than they already are by furloughing everybody and relying on state employment insurance and whatnot. So that's one other thing. The other thing is a giant construction project has shut down. The MSG sphere, which doesn't stand for monosodium glutamate, I promise you, it's Madison Square Garden sphere, has shut down. And what bothers me the most about this is now you have unemployment creeping into the construction industry. Now, what you don't probably know about this is most of the construction jobs out here, even the ones that are run by the state, some of the highest paying, highest, most desirable jobs in the entire state, because you have a gig, you're getting paid well. It's the prevailing wage jobs when it comes to the state, which means that if the state wage goes up, everybody's job gets a job increase for the contract of that entire thing. It's all positive stuff. But having construction workers out of business entirely just puts another, it's just another thing, another ding in the hull of the boat of the economy, if that makes sense to you, and another crack in the Hoover Dam. We don't want any more cracks in the dam that's holding everything from just going crazy, right? The reason they're actually shutting down this site is because they don't have the construction materials. Now, I suspect, but I can't prove because none of these people respond when you call them for any kind of a question. I suspect it has a lot to do with the hierarchy of construction projects. Of course, a few years ago, the Three Gorges Dam was being built in China, and I was working in San Diego on a construction job, and we couldn't find concrete anywhere. It's because that was the world's largest construction project at the time, Three Gorges Dam in China. Pretty amazing. Makes the Hoover Dam look small, by the way, but the Hoover Dam is still much better because it's located in this country right near Las Vegas. There was no construction materials. So right now I suspect that Allegiant Stadium is being built. That's where the construction materials have to go. They don't know when they're going to get them back for the MSG sphere, or they're having financials that they don't have to disclose to anybody because it's a privately held company. Then you also have the Las Vegas Convention Center being constructed. That's something that's going up at a rapid clip. They're still working. They still have the materials. So if the MSG sphere falls in the lower part of the hierarchy, they might not get the materials. If they don't have the materials, it makes zero sense for them to actually stay open and be having people on the clock for construction jobs. And that's really what it is. They say they're going to open up construction as soon as they can. It might be next year, though. And that will put that project delayed out to 2022. And I certainly hope we don't have to reposition something to be a different type of a building, because that project looks fantastic. If you don't know what it is, here's a picture of it right here. It's just a wonderful looking thing. It's a giant sphere, a giant dome, 360-degree sound, LEDs everywhere, one of a kind. And if it works well in Vegas, they want to build them in London, in New York City, in Florida, in California, and make them an entertainment type franchise. Pretty cool idea. But we have to put things into perspective, don't we? We have the tale of two different places. I have relatives that are 18,000 miles away in the Philippines right now. And, I divulged and disclosed in my GoFundMe that I pay for them to live. It's not a lot of money, guys. It's about the price you would pay for an expensive cell phone contract with one line with Verizon, if you know what that's like, and a very, very good full comprehensive cable package where you have internet, television. So think about, $300-400 a month. We pay that because I love my family, and they're the family that I want to take care of. And I can't have kids, and I'm not going to have any of my own. So I'm taking care of some other person, my godson and Christian. It's a picture of him and I. So to put things into perspective, and that money is always going to go. I don't know how I'll find it. The time was I'd say I would sell something, but ain't nobody got no money now. But to put it into perspective, right, we have our non-essential lockdown for 30 days. Now it's going to be non-essential lockdown for 45 days. Great. I can still take my car. I can still drive all around the city. I can take a joyride if I want, although we're trying to minimize our trips, obviously. That's what you have to do. And we can still go and buy groceries. We can still say, hey, that store's open. Let's go over there. I have freedom to do what I want. Where they are, it's so severe and dire. Number one, nobody's working because everything is closed down. The only thing those that are open right now, grocery stores and pharmacies. Pretty tough. You have to have a physical pass in order to go from one place to another. And if you don't have that pass on you, the police will take you back home. So it's a seriously different country. And that's a country where already people make anywhere between $6 to $8 a day to live on. And, it's a tough life. It's a tough gig. It's hot there all the time. You're not air conditioned constantly. I mean, look, we have to put it into perspective. We have it pretty good over here. And it's just, I want to make positive news videos, but it's really difficult to make positive news videos when there's all this stuff going on. And at the same time, if I make videos about the top 5 things in Vegas, I'm going to have people saying, there's a giant thing going on and you're not talking about it. So I want to strike a balance, and I want to make some good videos coming up here. So I'm going to start doing videos where I go out to neighborhoods, taking a look at some cool stuff, the spring blooms that are happening in Las Vegas. can see the flowers behind me, and sometimes you do have to just stop and smell the flowers. You have to stop and smell the marigolds, I want to say. I'm not sure. That's an aloe plant. That's a phalaenopsis. That's a picture of me and my wife and our Abyssinian, who we miss dearly, and I wish I could afford to get a new one for my wifey because that was her best buddy. And that's a succulent. So what are you doing to keep yourself positive? What are you doing to put things into perspective? What are you doing? How are you doing? Tell me in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe to the video. Make sure you reach out to me through email or Facebook if you want to, or you can be on that Patreon and be in the credits too. I gotta go. Now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click, and we'll try to do some really good creative stuff because otherwise I'm gonna go out of my mind. And I don't want you to go out of your minds. I want to keep you entertained too. Thanks for watching. You're the best part of my day, and we'll talk to you later. So now's the time where I say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, click.